Archives of Prasar Bharati presents the timeless treasure of golden era.
Situated on the northeastern edge of India, bordering Burma, is the tiny hill state of Nagaland. Nagaland today is a curious and attractive mix of the old and the new. On first observation, it seems like a land caught in a time warp. The pace of life unhurried, the people friendly and relaxed, and the pervading atmosphere one of openness and warmth, enough to offset the slight chill that an unseasonal winter shower might bring. There are many theories about the origins of the Naga people. They exhibit great extremes of racial intermixtures and cultural and linguistic affinities with tribes spread over Southeast Asia. It is conjectured that they have an oceanic background and have traveled across the seas and up the rivers from distant lands and trekked into the hills in search of a new homeland. The present-day Nagas comprise 17 major tribes, each with its distinct cultural and linguistic identity. Some of the more prominent are the Angamis, Aos, Simas, Zeliangs, Lothars, Chakesangs, Yimchungars, Konyaks and the Foms. With industry at an incipient stage of development, the major occupations are in the services sector and agriculture. Their economy is a simple one, consisting mainly of rearing livestock like chicken, cattle and pigs, and of growing paddy, primarily for internal consumption. Shifting cultivation is still followed, and paddy is grown in the fertile soil on the terrace slopes of the hillsides. The Angamis and the Chakesangs can in fact teach others a thing or two in efficient and profitable terracing of the rolling slopes. The design and layout of the houses varies between tribes. Wood and bamboo are the basic construction material, available in plenty in the forests nearby. The forests also provide people with firewood for cooking and to keep the chill out in the long, cold winters. Togetherness is important to the Nagas. They've always placed the community before the individual. Tribal affiliations and loyalties run very strong. Perception of common good comes instinctively and is not forsaken for individual gain. Modern times have not changed this basic tenet of Naga life. An expression of this community feeling is the ritual of voluntary and participatory labor which the entire village undertakes periodically. In an average-sized Naga village, one would not expect to find more than 40 or 50 families. And since each village is inhabited predominantly by members of the same tribe, there is a high degree of cohesiveness. festivals and celebrations bring the entire community together, and the villages are designed around common spaces where all the members converge. The close-knit structure of life in Naga villages derives directly from their shared tribal heritage. In fact, even today in some villages, distinct signs of their hunting and food gathering days are visible. In a rural agrarian society, largely insulated from the outside world, age-old values of caring and sharing have survived for centuries. But the outside world is not all that far away. In fact, it is only as far as the nearest town, and has little in common with the haven that is rural Nagaland. Urban Nagaland is remarkably different from the Nagaland of the villages. Kohima, the bustling capital, is a town of colorful and lively crowds, arcades and boutiques dispensing designer wear and contemporary hairstyling, a cross-cultural mix of students, traders, bureaucrats and many others. A wide cross-section of people unified by their faith, testifying to the one most profound influence on contemporary Naga life, the institution of Christianity. With Christianity came convent education and a Western outlook. As a consequence, the younger generation of city-bred Nagas today is extremely westernized, even more so than their counterparts in the big metros of India. Kohima, like any other large town, contains elements of both the traditional and the modern in Naga society. And it is here that the two elements come together in perfect harmony. The people, the climate, the landscape, in fact, all of nature conspires to perfect this picture of harmony. White clouds on green hillsides, the breeze through the bamboos, and the fairy tale cottages. In every detail, Kohima is indeed the jewel in Nagaland's crown.
That mountain, set me on the ground, underneath the tall pine tree with the sunset on the run. How I long to feel the comfort of a country breeze. Take me to Kohima, honey, set me free. to me the war's closing in, and I don't care if I ever see this factory again, 'cause I just love the mountain air, I hope you'll understand. Take me up high country, honey, set me on the ground. Set me on the ground, underneath the tall pine tree, sunset on the run. How I long to feel the comfort of the country breeze. Take me to Kohima, honey, set me free. Take me to that mountain, set me on the ground, underneath the tall pine tree, with the sunset on the run. How I long to feel the comfort of the country breeze. Take me to Kohima, honey, set me free. Take me to Kohima, honey, set me free.
Kohima had its date with history during the Second World War in the course of the Battle of Kohima. Around the DC's bungalow at the Garrison Hill was fought one of the fiercest and bloodiest hand-to-hand battles recorded in history. It is here that the Japanese advance into India was decisively crushed and the myth of Japanese invincibility finally destroyed. Here, on the terraced hillside, lie the war graves of the brave Allied soldiers who died in this historic battle. Ironical as it may sound, it is this serene and impeccably maintained war cemetery that is most frequented by visitors. No trace of the original DC's bungalow exists, but the tennis court remains marked by white lines. At the edge of the tennis court stands the cross of sacrifice. Each epitaph in this cemetery has a touching ring of pathos of its own. The most memorable is the stone inscription which reads, "When you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow, we gave our today." Even today, when one digs in one's backyard in Kohima, one often stumbles upon unexploded bombs and grenades from the Second World War days. These relics stand as a mute testimony to the stories of valor in the battle fought in pouring rain. The men who died defending the ridge comprised a motley collection of cooks, peons, mechanics, along with a handful of trained soldiers, who stood up successfully to the might of the Japanese, even though they were vastly outnumbered. In the Kohima Zoological Park, one can see the magnificent mithun, which is the local variety of the bison. It is also the state emblem. A major attraction here is the golden langur with a whooping call, which resounds all over the hillside. The zoo authorities have successfully bred the elusive Blight's tragopan, which is found only in these tracts. Nagaland has a rich abundance of flowers, and every cottage has a small garden and some potted plants. Flowers like the azaleas, hydrangeas, camellias, begonias and geraniums splash every little house with vivid color. There are over 200 varieties of orchids in Nagaland, most of which can be found growing wild in the forests. Some of these include rare and exotic varieties, which are nearly extinct elsewhere. The museum at Kohima has a series of life-sized models of scenes of various traditional ways of life of the Nagas. For instance, an Angami couple returning home from work. The butterfly dance. A Naga warrior. And a typical Konyak hut. The Konyaks are a martial tribe, and this model shows two Konyak men making traditional weapons. In addition to these displays, there are exhibits of traditional Naga crafts in the form of walking sticks, smoking pipes, wooden sculptures, and traditional Naga weapons like shields, spears, and firearms. Some Naga tribes practiced headhunting in the past. These skulls, displayed in the museum, are actual trophies of tribal warfare. Dimapur, situated by the foothills, is not only the gateway to Nagaland, but to the neighboring Manipur as well. Once the seat of the Kachari kings, from the 14th to the 16th century AD, Dimapur still bears testimony to its past in the form of the majestic ruins of a Kachari fortress. The Kacharis had amicable but at times strained relations with various Naga tribes, stories are heard of periods of trade relations interspersed by periods of mistrust and clashes. Another place of interest near Kohima is the village of Konoma with its beautiful stone church. As in a typical village in Nagaland, this village has exquisitely painted motifs on its gates. Here, one also comes across this memorial to one Mr. Damont, a British political officer and his men who were killed in the last Angami rebellion of 1879 during the British efforts to annex this area to their East Indian colony. Of the 87 men who had escorted Damont, 37 were killed and only 50 managed to escape to Kohima. With bamboo available aplenty on their hillsides, the Nagas produce a very fine range of handicrafts. Equally refined are their skills in chiseling and wood carving. This process is slow and takes weeks of skilled and concentrated work on blocks of wood. But the finesse and aesthetic appeal of the end product more than makes up for the labor. The objects, largely Naga tribal motifs, reflect aspects of their collective tribal experience. The finest example of Naga artistry and handicrafts are the shawls that are woven by women in villages. These shawls are sold all over the country and are much appreciated for the simple elegance of their design and for the evenness of their weave. Each tribe has its own distinctive colors and patterns, and even within a tribe, men and women wear different kinds of shawls. The Nagas may have adapted well to changing times, but their roots are firmly planted in tradition. This is most evident from their dances, which constitute the most beautiful aspect of Naga culture. These traditional dances are not only rhythmic and vigorous, but extremely colorful. Each tribe has its own distinctive dance for every occasion or festival, signifying to the outside world the Naga's zest for life. Nagaland remains a land of eternal charm, blessed with an abundance of clean air, water, trees, and soft sunlight. A faraway, magical land, shrouded in the mists of time. An enigmatic mix of robust modernity and colorful traditions. Much more than only hill resorts. In fact, a universe full of surprises waiting to be explored.